Everything I learned in anger management. Hop back on some east side banning shit and push a nigga's top back when I let the cannon spit. Start planning shit, premeditation. I'm in love with the streets again, rededication. Casket or cremation when I shoot you.
Famous people or any inmates who had a lot of notoriety, or just you know, people who had extraordinary penitentiary reputations, anything like that?
Not that I could think of.
Not
that I could think of.
You know, a lot of people want to know about Wes Watson. Did you ever run across Wes Watson? Did you know Wes Watson?
No, I didn't.
Know Wes Watson?
No.
Let me see else what I got here for you. Okay, so what about when you were in the white supremacy? Did you have to earn certain tattoos? Were there things that you... So all tattoos...
So every tattoo on my body is earned. Different things for different... Like this is a timestamp. This means 10 years as a skinhead. There's a whole bunch of different political meanings behind these. I could go on for hours talking about all those.
Right.
But basically, violence is one way. Loyalty and violence are the two ways that you earn that stuff. So usually putting in work will get you letters, will get you symbols, whatever symbols you want. Varying degrees of work. Certain acts and riots will get you other things. That's pretty much, yeah, every tattoo is based off of that. And I'm from here down is everything, my whole body.
Right. So let me ask you this. Say a guy had maybe a tattoo on him symbolizing something he didn't earn. Was there a type of way he could possibly be checked?
That happens a lot, and the way you do it is you just, what's the paperwork for that? Like, because you get paperwork on everything that you've done.
Right.
So you get a 115 or a case off of it, and if they don't have it, if they don't have anybody who's co-signed their shit from their area, so if they're from IE, someone from IE would co-sign their shit.
Right.
If they don't have that, then they put in work and they have to earn it. Right. So it'd be like post incident, you know, like you'd have it already and then you would go earn it.
Right. And so basically a 115 is a disciplinary action in prison. So I'm sure you did as I did. Each time you went to the hole, you kept all this paperwork because it's like to prove as what you had done when you went to another prison. You know, they want to know, hey, where you coming from and blah blah blah. And so your paperwork was kind of basically like your prison resume.
Exactly. Yeah, and I probably still have all that shit upstairs, but it's a stack. There's a lot.
Right.
Yep.
So let me see what I got here else. Oh, okay. Are there any prisons in the California system that were more popular for whites, or you felt had a higher number of whites, or ran by whites? Because I've always heard that High Desert. I've always heard that Susanville was a prison where the guards would actually bring the white inmates knives and weapons and stuff like that.
I don't know if that's true or not. I wouldn't say it's not true. I wouldn't say it's true, but I know that there's a higher population of whites. Also, most of the guards are white. The whole community is built. It's mostly white folk. They're hella racist. They say racist stuff. They favor white folk. Tracy was that way. There was a lot of whites in Tracy when I was there.
Right.
But majority of the time, there was like on a 1,200 person yard, maybe 100 whites.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So at one of these prisons that were more white, how many whites would you say were on the yard?
I'm trying to think about Tracy because it was a while ago. I'd say with the gym alone, there was probably in a 524 person tank, there was 100 whites, which makes them a fifth of the population, which is pretty good numbers. Out of 524 people, 100 whites.
Right.
And that was, you know, that was the only place I've ever been where Southerners were not the majority.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
So, Hefe, you standing behind the camera, man. Are there any questions that you have?
Hefe the shooter is ready. All right. So, what was your first fight experience like in prison?
My first fight was a removal, and it was on D-Yard in San Diego.
So when you say a removal, for those who may not be familiar with prison terms, what's a removal?
A removal is where they send 2 or 3 people on one person, and they just obliterate or stab him.
So basically, they're trying to get that one undesired person off the yard.
The
He's committed some type of infraction that's not cool.
Yeah.
And so he's getting removed from the yard now.
Yeah. And on this case, something came in about this person, something they had done in another prison that they were at, or in county jail or something. I can't remember what it was, but they put me on it. So I went back to my cell and I packed my stuff because I know I'd be going to the hole. And we went and did our thing. So when you say
you pack your stuff, elaborate on that.
So you take your whole cell and you just, because the cops go through all that shit. So if you bag it, you know that they're less likely to throw your shit away.
Right.
So I just bagged everything discreetly. And then at the yard release, I went out and saw him. We waited for him to get to a point where he was furthest away from cops. came up on him
So
from
that,
both sides.
and that was because so you guys can have the most amount of time to do damage.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
Exactly.
Right.
And we came up on him in what's called a blind spot, meaning that the tower can't necessarily see exactly.
So you have
what's
more
going-
time to put
so
your
you have
foot in
more
his
time
ass.
before they fire block or fire the mini.
Wow. Okay.
Y'all put hands and feet on him.
Right. And so this removal, like
Sorry.
I don't know exactly how many prisons it is in California, maybe 32, 33. So basically explain that a little bit. So regardless of what you do at some type of way at some prison, it's gonna eventually catch up with you.
Prison is a super small world.
And this was before the cell phones.
Yeah, absolutely. Prison's super small. I mean, if you think about it, most people in prison are doing a length of time. So as they go forward, they'll move 3 or 4 spots. I hit 14 spots because I was in 14 prisons.
Can you just out of curiosity, can you name off those prisons?
Wasco, Delano, Calipat, Centinela, Corcoran, Tracy. Where else was I? Fuck, I can't remember.
CMC,
Soledad. There's more.
So so basically
Tehachapi.
you done 15 years?
I've done 15, but
and 14
more than,
prisons.
yeah.
So you was pretty active. You was moving
Yeah.
around. I mean, because the more time, most times when a person moves from prison to prison is because he's likely getting in some type of trouble.
Yeah.
You know, you're getting kicked out, you're getting shipped here. So that's really, I've done 24 years and I probably only hit 6, 7 prisons. So for 14, 15 prisons in a 14, 15 year span,
Yeah.
you stayed in a lot of trouble. You were active, and you were getting shipped around a lot.
A lot, yeah. And it was just the way it was. There was also Tehachapi and Corcoran because I was in the shoe on both of those and on the main line on both of those. I'm losing somewhere.
Right.
Chino, I forgot Chino. Anyways, but yeah, so I moved around a lot, and pretty much that's just you pass information as you go. Did you hear about such and such? And it's a really informal thing, but word travels.
So so just for instance, you may be at Tehachapi. You find out you're leaving. You're going to, for instance, Calipat. So maybe some of your higher ups or whoever, they say, well, hey man, we heard such and such is at Calipat. Take this kite, which is basically a note with information on it, down to such and such, and pass this kite along, and that's how word travels.
Absolutely.
Right. So you may be 500 miles away in Pelican Bay, but like I say, now you're going to Calipat.
Going somewhere, exactly.
So they're spreading this information out. So that's how they catch up with Jimmy, who done this up here 9 months ago. So now he thinks he's cool.
Yep.
But the word is eventually gonna catch up with him.
100%.
So on this removal, did you guys say anything to the guy? Or you just wait for him
Nothing.
to get?
We just moved on him. He was shocked because we fucked with him. Like we worked out with him and everything.
Wow. So hold on. You guys worked out with this guy?
Yeah, we worked out with him and everything before that. Like he was
how long?
Probably he was there for about a month, and then word got
So
there.
he gets there, he shows up, hey, I'm such and such.
I'm crashed, and
I'm
then
cool,
we
and
worked
so
out.
everybody's hanging out, and then suddenly the shoe drops, some shit pulls up,
and he had no idea because it just went from the person who got the kite to the yard, and then to us, and we just moved.
And that's how I explained that what's so cold about prison, you guys, is that from one second this guy may be your buddy, and you have no intention of harming this dude, but then suddenly some information shows up that he broke an infraction.
You'll be the first one that they asked to do it because you're closest to him.
And right, he's never gonna suspect it. And so how is that like on your conscience wise? Because we know that's how prison is, but how do you deal with that? I mean, is it just
In the
business,
back
never
end,
personal, or?
Well, at the time, at a young age, it's easier to swallow up the business idea.
Right.
And then you get older, and you start feeling bad about stuff. Like, the stuff that you've been pushing down starts building up. So, I mean, in terms of today, the harm that I caused, the things that I did to people, I live a life where I never perpetuate that kind of behavior, for one, and for two, I own it. I own it openly. I don't brag about it because I feel like it's a testament to the survivors of harm that I've done harm to for me to own that and take accountability without making them look less than or anything, or making myself sound big for doing it, because these are things I did. They aren't who I am.
Right. So excuse me, but and I know this also. So when we're younger, we're like, it's part of the game. It's what we signed up for, and we think less about it. And the reason we think less about it is sad to say, but we believe in what we're doing, or we wouldn't be doing it.
For sure.
And that's what a lot of people, like I say, these people who get at me with these free world solutions to these locked up problems. Sometimes now that we're older, we'll realize, hey, you know what? I was wrong for doing that. But at the time, it's what this guy signed up for. It's what I signed up for. He knew the rules like I knew the rules.
Exactly.
Had I been the one who broke the infraction, it would have been me with the foot in my ass.
For sure.
And so that's just how it goes.
And when you're young, it's easier to do that. Even if you don't believe in it all the way, you want to believe in
Right.
it. Because I feel like kids, specifically kids from the age of 16 to let's say 30, you're looking for something to invest in.
Right.
And that is the perfect avenue because it's easy to understand, it's easy to climb the ranks, it's not difficult, it's not a difficult path, and you're able to attain some status that maybe you'll never get in real life on the streets. Maybe you'll be working in a moving company for your entire life out here, scraping to make bills, but in there you have status and you have respect because of the things that you do. So it's easy to invest in something even if you don't believe in it fully.
Right, and then also I want to say, so with each state boot, you put in a motherfucker's glutes, you get more
time.
You get
more status.
You get more status.
For sure.
The more ass you kick,
state boot you put in glutes. I like that.
Each time you put a state boot in a motherfucker's glute, you're more respected by your peers.
That.
Like, oh yeah, he's the shit. And this dude right here, he's with the business. And we get rewarded for being violent in prison.
Absolutely.
And so for people who can't understand, this is why this stuff is perpetuated. You know, one of my buddies used to say, nobody went to prison for doing their best thinking.
That's
so
true.
You know, you guys are trying to talk to us sensible and argue us and get mad at us. We're not in prison for being smart at that time. And then once, you know, prison is it's a sorority. You know.
Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the evil that men do. Father God, I pray and ask that you help me to have mercy on others the same way I would want you.